Indiana Fever president
Kelly Krauskopf
is in serious hot waters.
This is about the Indiana Fever. Yes, we have a foundational player in Caitlin Clark.
We hear the tone of how she's describing Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, I think the Fever are a lost cause. Calling the Fever a lost cause is an understatement.
They're putting everything on the blame. Now Kelly is running and hiding.
Every single good thing that has happened to your organization is because of number 22.
And Caitlin Clark leaves, it's lights out.
She built the brand. She brought the fans.
So Kelly Krauskopf is starting to feel the pressure, the pain from the fan base, their dissatisfaction with this team.
And now the very people cashing in on Caitlin Clark are trying to erase her impact.
A star is going to take the Fever where the Fever want to go. And that star is Caitlin Clark.
Fever president Kelly Krauskopf just dismissed the Caitlin Clark effect, claiming it's all about the team, and then ran for cover.
She has deactivated her social media accounts.
Why are you hiding in the shadows?
Deleting her social media.
Her account completely deleted from Twitter, and it's gone.
The fans aren't having it.
You have more people who are fans of Caitlin Clark and not fans of the Indiana Fever.
If you're 100% Team Caitlin, drop a comment right now and let the world know. We see what's happening, and we won't stay silent.
Was Kelly Krauskopf against Caitlin Clark the entire time?
It all started with a single clip, an interview where Fever president Kelly Krauskopf downplayed Caitlin Clark's influence and instead shifted focus to building a brand like Apple.
This team to be the leader in the country and, a brand, an enduring brand, like Apple.
Her exact words? Yes, we have a foundational player in Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston, but this is about the Indiana Fever.
This is about the Indiana Fever. Yes, we have a foundational player in Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston.
That one line triggered a firestorm, not just because of what she said, but how she said it. There was no excitement, no acknowledgement of Clark's record-breaking college career, her immediate impact on WNBA ticket sales, or the surge in national attention.
If Caitlin Clark left the Indiana Fever, you will see a huge drop.
Instead, it felt like a calculated effort to minimize her role.
We have to think more about us than just Caitlin Clark.
Like Clark was just another piece in a larger puzzle. But here's the problem. Without Caitlin, there is no puzzle.
But this is about the Indiana Fever. And without Caitlin Clark, there's no Indiana Fever.
The Fever didn't start selling out arenas until Caitlin stepped on the court. Merchandise didn't fly off the shelves until Clark's name was on the jersey. National TV ratings didn't spike because people were suddenly interested in Indiana basketball. They came for her. And fans noticed how quickly the organization pivoted from, "We're lucky to have her," to, "This isn't just about Caitlin."
You can keep worrying about how to market the Indiana Fever. If you keep losing, you're not going to have to worry about marketing anything.
Even the Apple comparison fell flat. Apple succeeded because it focused on a superior product, not vague branding.
Apple used to be an innovator and pioneer in tech space because it focused on the quality of the product it produced and always made sure that its product was hands down the best. That is completely and utterly consumed with marketing and branding.
You want this to be an Apple? Like, what? What does that even mean? Like, fam, this is a basketball team.
Yet Kelly's words suggest they're skipping the product altogether. Instead of empowering Caitlin to lead the franchise,
Not realizing we are only here for Caitlin Clark. The Indiana Fever brand is going to get as big and go as far as Caitlin Clark takes it.
the Fever seemed more concerned with forcing everyone to cheer for the logo.
It's more so she's worried about the organization growing instead of actually putting a great team around Caitlin Clark and allowing her to do her thing.
That's not vision, that's ego.
Start focusing on the team. That's what you need to focus on. That's what's going to grow the brand that you're speaking of.
And fans aren't buying it. They see this for what it is, a front office trying to control the narrative, ignoring the very reason they're relevant. They're trying to build an empire, but they're stepping on the only foundation strong enough to support it.
They never really wanted anything to be about Caitlin Clark. They want to use Caitlin Clark fan base to uplift their franchise as a whole.
Caitlin Clark is the Fever's franchise, and the denial of that truth, it's not strategy, it's sabotage.
And Michael Jordan going crazy. And then they finally put the right team around him. Now people are loving the team.
The moment Kelly Krauskopf downplayed Caitlin Clark's role in the franchise, fans didn't just get upset, they erupted. What we've seen since is a grassroots rebellion against the Fever's front office, powered entirely by loyal supporters who feel betrayed, disrespected, and flat out ignored. This wasn't just a few angry tweets, it became a full-scale digital protest. Fans took to every social media platform, flooding the comments under Fever posts with one message: stop sidelining Caitlin Clark. But they didn't stop at words. They organized boycotts, canceling merchandise orders, refusing to attend games, and pledging not to spend a single cent until real change happens.
They're talking about stop buying merch. They're talking about really hitting them where it hurt.
One comment that went viral captured the sentiment perfectly. You want to treat a Ferrari like it's a Corolla? Then don't act surprised when people stop watching.
Either bring the Ferrari out of the garage or suffer the consequences. We're treating a Ferrari like it's a Corolla.
That analogy spread like wildfire, and it's painfully accurate. Caitlin Clark isn't just a rookie. She's a generational talent who single-handedly changed the economics of the WNBA. Before her, Fever games averaged under 5,000 in attendance. Now, it's 17,000 on a regular night.
Going from 4,000 in an arena to 17,000 in an arena every single night.
Before Caitlin, the WNBA was fighting for airtime. Now her games are primetime headlines. Yet instead of recognizing this as a moment to celebrate and build around, the front office is seemingly trying to flatten her impact.
If Caitlin Clark is participating in an entertaining and exciting brand of basketball that doesn't take away and diminish her skill sets, that doesn't turn off fans that have been following her for the last 3 to 5 years.
Pushing her into off-ball roles, avoiding her in offensive sets, and treating her like just another jersey in the locker room. The fans aren't dumb. They see it all.
You do not want to piss off the very thing that is supporting you, and that is Caitlin Clark fans.
They've watched the team run clunky, motion-heavy offenses that bury Clark's playmaking. They've seen her standing in the corner while lesser players dominate possessions.
If you're not putting the right players with Caitlin Clark, if you're not running the right plays for Caitlin Clark, if you're not coaching Caitlin Clark and the team better, that is what's going to build your brand that you want to create. That's what's going to build it.
They've heard the talking points from the coaching staff and executives, pretending that it's all part of the system. But nobody's fooled. The numbers don't lie. The eye test doesn't lie. And now the people have had enough. This isn't just frustration over a losing season. It's a rebellion against what feels like intentional suppression. Caitlin Clark was brought in to lead, not to be leashed. And when the front office failed to recognize that, fans picked up the slack. They're the ones keeping receipts.
The fans has definitely been keeping receipts on everything that has transpired between the front office and Caitlin Clark.
They're the ones digging up old interviews, exposing contradictions, and demanding accountability. Even casual followers can feel the tension. This isn't a team trying to win. It's a team trying to reshape the narrative, and it's blowing up in their faces. The fans who once cheered for the Fever are now chanting, "Free Caitlin." That's not just a hashtag, it's a warning. The WNBA finally got the star it's been waiting for, and if Indiana keeps fumbling the moment, another team will happily take her in. What we're witnessing is something rare in professional sports. A player whose fan base is bigger, louder, and more loyal than the franchise she plays for.
You have more people who are fans of Caitlin Clark, all right? Fans of Caitlin Clark, and not fans of the Indiana Fever.
And that power, that's something the Fever front office never prepared for. Because you can ignore fans for a while, but when they turn on you completely, they don't just walk away. They take your entire foundation with them.
This is about the Indiana Fever. Yes, we have a foundational player in Caitlin Clark and Leah Boston, and we're going to continue to add to that. But I want this team to be the leader in the country, and a brand, an enduring brand, like Apple or something. And we have a real opportunity here that we want to sustain the growth and the interest level in the franchise.
When the heat turned up, Kelly Krauskopf didn't lean in. She vanished, literally.
Her account completely deleted from Twitter.
Within days of dismissing Caitlin Clark's impact and doubling down on the "this is about the Fever, not Caitlin" narrative, the Fever president deactivated her Twitter account and disappeared from public view. No statements, no clarification, no accountability, just silence. Let's call it what it is, a retreat. This wasn't a case of protecting mental health. This wasn't about taking a break from social media. This was about avoiding the storm she helped create. A leader stands firm in the face of backlash. A leader owns their decisions, good or bad. But instead of addressing the outrage from thousands of Fever supporters and Caitlin Clark fans, Kelly chose to run. And that decision didn't make the situation better. It poured gasoline on the fire.
The Indiana Fever fan base have a reason, right, to actually be frustrated, bamboozled a little bit.
The message was loud and clear. The fans were right, and she had no defense.
This shows that the message from the fan base is getting through, right? She's heard, she's seen it.
That's what made the disappearance so damaging. The frustration wasn't just about basketball anymore. It became a symbol of something bigger. A fan base that gave everything, time, money, energy, was met with silence when they asked questions. Questions like, why is Caitlin being taken off the ball? Why was the offense redesigned to ignore her strengths?
They're showing up there for Caitlin Clark. All right? Point blank.
Why did the team use her image to sell tickets and jerseys, only to sideline her when the cameras turned off? And when those questions got too loud, Kelly didn't answer them. She vanished. What followed was an online movement unlike anything the WNBA has seen in years. Fans didn't just criticize, they organized. They started digging. They posted screenshots of deleted interviews. They shared old press clips where Krauskopf talked about building a brand like Apple, a brand-first, product-second mentality. One fan brilliantly pointed out that Apple succeeded when it prioritized product quality. Now, Apple is mostly marketing, and that's exactly the path Fever seems to be following. Shiny logos, no substance.
Talking about turning his brand into an Apple. What does that even mean? It's not a cell phone, man. This is a basketball organization.
And while Krauskopf ran, the fans ran louder. They stormed the Fever's posts. Every tweet about game day outfits or ticket sales was instantly ratioed with, "Give Caitlin the ball," "Where's the Ferrari?" and "You're turning a dynasty into a dumpster." One viral post read, "Free Caitlin Clark. You're treating the biggest draw in modern sports like she's a bench player." Even more brutal, some fans started mocking the Fever as if they were deliberately tanking their future, saying things like, "You had the golden goose and treated her like trash. Don't worry, New York or Vegas will treasure her." That fear that Caitlin could walk away from Indiana became the tipping point. What if she's traded? What if she requests out? What if the greatest opportunity the Fever ever had walks away and never looks back? And while all this was happening, nothing from the front office. No outreach, no correction, no apology, just echoes.
She's just deleted her Twitter. She's getting called out because it was exposed, because an interview got brought up. They start bringing up an interview that she basically said, I mean, we have Caitlin and Aaliyah, but like, we want to grow the organization. Like,
this silence gave the perception that Krauskopf wasn't just avoiding fans. She was denying Caitlin's importance entirely. Jealousy? Maybe not in the emotional sense, but there's a stubborn refusal to acknowledge that Caitlin is bigger than the brand, more beloved than the logo, and more impactful than any front office plan could ever engineer. It's a jealousy of control, a jealousy of attention, a desire to shrink her so the system feels larger. But here's the truth they can't hide from anymore. Caitlin Clark is the system. She's the reason the Fever are even in the spotlight.
Yes, it's Caitlin Clark, but if you can continue to win and put a nice team around Caitlin Clark, people will start loving the rest of the team.
A star is going to take the Fever where the Fever want to go. And that star is Caitlin Clark.
She's the engine, the face, the franchise, and fans won't let her be sidelined, not by a flawed offense, not by outdated leadership, and certainly not by a president too proud to say, "We got it wrong." So yes, Kelly ran. But in doing so, she confirmed everything the fans feared. This wasn't just mismanagement, it was deliberate dismissal. And the people Caitlin brought into the game, they're not leaving quietly. They're staying. They're fighting. Because Caitlin didn't just elevate the WNBA, she ignited a movement. And movements don't fade when the lights go out. They get louder.
If Caitlin Clark leaves to the New York Liberty, back to 6,000 you guys go.
Beneath all the statements, strategic branding, in basketball jargon lies a deeper, uglier truth. There's an agenda at play, and it has nothing to do with team chemistry or system basketball. The moves being made don't just suggest incompetence, they reveal resistance. A resistance to Caitlin Clark's rise, a resistance to what she represents,
And we need to keep people loving the organization.
and maybe, just maybe, a desire to keep her in check. Let's call it what it is: control. Caitlin didn't come through the traditional WNBA machine. She arrived with her own spotlight, her own fan base, and more momentum than the entire league has seen in decades. That kind of power shifts the balance, and not everyone likes that. Instead of embracing it, some seem determined to dilute it. They're not building around her, they're boxing her in. They're not maximizing her play style, they're minimizing it. And worst of all, they're disguising it under the label of team-first basketball, as if Caitlin Clark succeeding somehow threatens the integrity of the game. But the numbers don't lie. When Clark runs the offense, the team flows. When she's off the ball or sidelined, the rhythm collapses. And yet, time and again, we see her taken out of the driver's seat. The excuses don't add up anymore. This isn't about development. This isn't about sharing the ball. This is about deliberately suppressing her leadership role. And fans see it. You don't draft a generational playmaker only to treat her like a role player.
Yeah, we're trying to get great players around Caitlin Clark so we can win a championship. We're looking to give exciting basketball.
You don't stack your marketing around her image while simultaneously designing an offense that limits her voice. And you certainly don't act shocked when her fans push back, demanding the very thing you promised: a franchise built around Caitlin Clark. Some insiders have even hinted that internal jealousy might be part of the equation. Envy over her fame, her endorsements, her fan loyalty. She's not just a top pick. She's a media force, a cultural shift, a player with more influence than most coaches or executives in the league. And instead of leveraging that, the Fever front office is pushing back against it.
Indiana Fever president
Kelly Krauskopf
is in serious hot waters.
This is about the Indiana Fever. Yes, we have a foundational player in Caitlin Clark.
We hear the tone of how she's describing Caitlin Clark.
They're putting everything on the blame. Now Kelly is running and hiding.
So Kelly Krauskopf is starting to feel the pressure, the pain from the fan base, their dissatisfaction with this team.
A star is going to take the Fever where the Fever want to go. And that star is Caitlin Clark.
Every single good thing that has happened to your organization is because of number 22.
And Caitlin Clark leaves, it's lights out.
But here's the catch. You can't shrink a star like Caitlin Clark. The more you try to mute her, the louder the backlash gets. The more you try to manage her spotlight, the more it exposes the very people who want to control it. Because this isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about power. It's about who gets to lead and who's afraid of being led by someone who doesn't fit their mold. In the end, it's not Caitlin who's failing the team. It's the system that's failing her. And fans know it. That's why they're fighting. Not just for a player, but for fairness, for honesty, and for the future of the game. Because when jealousy drives decisions, greatness gets wasted. And Caitlin Clark, she deserves better.
Sometimes you need to listen to the fan base. Sometimes the fan base is right on point with who you need to be looking at.
The message couldn't be clearer. Caitlin Clark isn't just a player. She's the reason this franchise has a pulse. While the Fever front office hides behind branding strategies and corporate spin, the fans are standing up, speaking out, and demanding the truth.
The fans are really going to boycott this basketball team.
Kelly Krauskopf may have tried to downplay the Caitlin Clark effect, But the numbers, the energy, and the loyalty all prove otherwise. You can't erase what the world has already embraced. And if the Fever won't recognize what they have, someone else will. Because stars shine regardless of the stage. And Caitlin Clark was born to lead, not be ignored.
Y'all had arguably the best talent that the sport has seen in the last 20 years, bro. You fumbled it.
Try to win. Try to go far in the playoffs. This is what you have to do.